because it's so personal.
Mhm.
I think that it's a harder time getting signups than you might on something that was less personal might have.
Oh, if it was a large class, it would be less personal, you mean?
No. When you think about, for me to come to this class
Uh-huh.
means that I have to be very, I have to share personal things about myself, which
Right.
I might not find that I want to share in a group.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
So,
In a
so
large
I
group.
think that's a little, you know,
No, I agree. It's the perfect size class. It always is.
is it?
It
Yeah, it's
always
really
is,
nice.
I never have been someone that, wants these great big classes. I used to have classes that were larger, but it was mostly business related. So I think this being an intimate size group is much better.
I totally agree, and I guess that you have put it more, you have articulated it more clearly.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's
I
really
want people to be safe and, these are personal issues that we're
really,
talking about.
really, and
Mhm.
we all have a sense of, well, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, don't want to say for anybody else, but perhaps for me, a sense of failure, or did I do it right, or did I do it wrong, or what's wrong with me, kind of
Right.
thing that runs through it,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think
yeah.
the theme also is, all of us are of a certain age,
Yes.
obviously not our first relationships, and we're at a different part of our life. And that's really the other part of it.
That's what I found so wonderful, and I really appreciate your sharing your own experiences with us. Because, there are a lot of, dating coaches and things online and stuff where you can get help. But it's a different rodeo for those of us who are older. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not only that we've already had relationships, lots of people have had relationships, it's that we're less sure of ourselves, in this, what to expect. I'm sort of making generalizations here, but they're really sort of just about myself and my perceptions of it.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's just a harder age because it's not like we're out, out there in the dating market and that we're, have 60 years ahead of us. Whatever.
I know it's hard. For me, it's hard to know what I want.
Well, that is particularly
I mean, I know what I
my,
don't want, but I'm still deciding. So I'm kind of in that, I guess, research phase.
well, that is really key. And yet you have, maybe it's your intuitive side that has, tapped right into my own, the biggest issue, not perhaps the biggest, but a big issue for me. And it's funny because one of the things that I picked up from, your class last time was I got a pendulum, or I found one. And, right.
Have you been playing with
It's
it?
not what.
Have you
So
been
I
playing
asked,
with it?
yeah, so I asked, do I really want a relationship? And it had a little yes, had a little no. And then it went round and round and round. I said, oh, well, there's no surprise about that.
Oh, let me give you a statement before you do use your pendulum, okay?
Okay,
So write this down.
I'm going to.
So one thing that I learned about it is take have a big drink of water first.
Oh,
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't know why. I was just taught this not too long ago by energy kind of a person. And because I asked him, I said, I'm asking my pendulum the same question and getting two different answers 2 different times, like first says yes, and it says no, then it says maybe. And he gave me this statement. So I use this statement before I use it. All right. So the statement you say, and you'll say this 3 times out loud, I access 100% accurate testing on all levels and dimensions.
that's interesting on all levels and dimensions. And you say that 3 times out loud.
Say that 3 times out loud, and then ask your pendulum your question.
And you found that works well for you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm a great follower of Colette Baron Reed and her oracle cards, and oracle cards just in general. I turn to them a lot, and they're never
Like
the ones I use. Yeah, which ones do you have?
These are called energy oracle.
Or energy oracles. I mean, there are thousands out there.
I know there's tons and tons,
Thousands.
but I use them all the
Wow.
time.
Yeah, and there I don't ask a yes or no question. I ask what do I need to know about?
Yeah.
Which is, you know, you sometimes you want a yes or no. Um, and it's interesting because it's like when they say flip a coin, if you you know, and you had heads and tails and you really wanted it to come up tails, but it came up heads. That's sort of how I feel about the pendulum too. That that you sort of know. Not always. Sometimes you're totally upset, but if it comes one way and you think, oh, I really want it the other way.
Well, you know, and our emotions kind of fog the window, so to speak, because we can be emotional about the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when I start getting 2 different answers.
Yeah.
And
Well,
here's another way to ask your question. Is it in my highest and best interest? Fill in the blank. Is dating in my highest and best interest?
that is you know what? I really like that because that takes it away from my sort of egocentric. Do I want this?
Yeah.
To more of a universe or
Right.
divine.
Make it, you know, I'll ask it that way. It's just my highest and best interest to fill in the blank.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I want to dig a little more into this question of to get some clarity. And it's interesting to me that you actually are because not as clear, because it seems to me you are pretty clear. And because you've taken such concrete steps, I guess that would be the way. And I can't get myself, I mean, just when I walk up to it, I just sort of, I think, oh, there's so much other stuff I'd rather do with my time. And I know that there are real barriers. I mean, I've had very, I would say, um, with a small t, um, this isn't the word, traumatic relationships. I've never had a good love relationship. It's not clear to me that it's, I know my part in it. I can see my part in it. But, you know, it makes me not want to go. It makes me question my judgment and not want to go there again.
Okay.
Because
I think that you're asking the wrong questions.
oh, good.
So an example maybe of a question you're asking, I think I heard you say, you know, do I want to date or something like that? Was that kind of the gist?
Yeah.
All right. So remember the class is about getting ready to date.
Right.
You haven't made an agreement to date with yourself, you know, like you may not be in that place yet, but you kind of put one foot forward, say, well, I would like to get ready to date.
You know, the funny thing is, if somebody who I liked asked me out on a date, I wouldn't hesitate. I mean, you know, it's not like I have this fear of being with men. I mean, I belong to an alumni group and I belong to various writing groups, and I participate in a lot of things, and I meet people. Mostly I meet women. I have to
So
admit.
it's probably somebody's not going to walk up to you and ask you on a date because you're not ready. Okay, you're not an open invitation to, I would like to go on a date now. And so that's the question. One of the questions, am I ready to meet people? Am I ready to date? I don't even think you're ready for that question. I think it goes back further. It more of, what do I need to clear in myself to be ready to date? Where am I blocked that is ready to be cleared or healed, is another way to say that.
I think that's absolutely right.
What are the steps that I could take now to help heal my wounds around dating or relationship? This is the most important part of getting ready to date. Is if you were to walk into a date right now, you would drag along all your baggage of where you didn't, get treated right, or you were hurt, or
Right.
you were betrayed, you were stabbed in the back, you were spoken to unkindly, all of that would trail behind you. And what the opportunity is that this class is driving up to the surface is to move that out.
Well, I will say that I had one brief surprising and lovely event. Okay, so I've been doing this research around this biography, and every summer, more or less, except during pandemic, for about 10 years, I've been going to England to meet with this society and people who are interested in the same subject or writers that I'm interested in. And then I guess it was 2 years ago, I want to say, this person had written me, this man had written me, his name is Michael, had written me at first that he was interested in doing the same biography as I was doing on the same person. And then he shifted to something else. Anyway, the long and short was, I was going to be he lives in Oxford, and I was going to be in that area. And I said, I don't know why I did it. It was just something I did. I just said, would you like to get together? And then I thought, God, I don't know anything about this guy. He could be a serial killer for all I know. It's like, but it was like the minute I met him, and the minute I met him, we had like an instant rapport, and we went out for a walk on the and it was just a magical day. I mean, it was just really a magical day. And he had been in a partnership for, I've forgotten how many years, but it was like 13, 14, I can't remember how many, a lot of years, 19 years, 18 years. Anyway, where he had never gotten married. And so I wasn't, I thought, oh, well, that's that, but on the way, and he gave me a copy of a book he had written that was just, we just shared a lot of interests. And on the way back in the airplane, I got this text saying, you wouldn't believe it. He said, his partner, Mina, wants us to get divorced. He said, it's not divorced, but move out, to separate. Not my idea. And but it was like the day at 3 or 4 days after we had gotten together, which was weird, synchronistically. And so I thought, oh, that's kind of nice. And the book that he had written, I felt like I was in that book. I mean, it was very odd. So when we've corresponded, and we did one Zoom, and I saw him last summer, but he's been in the process of breaking up from a long relationship and having to move. And I went through the process of having to move, which is one of the most stressful things. It's just can be a really stressful event, and it was in my case. And it made, and then I had COVID and all these things. But he, if I send a letter, he responds very enthusiastically, and we have this little thing, and yes, let's get together, but it's always, and then like I went last summer, and I always am just doing my own tour, but I said I'll be there. But he was so inflexible in terms of the time he could meet with that he could get together with me. So we went for another hike, which was fun. He has this wonderful dog that I just love. And I don't really love dogs that much. Um, and and I thought, geez, this is gonna go anywhere. This guy's gotta make some effort. It's just, it's coming from me. It's not coming from him. Although he hasn't he definitely hasn't ghosted me. He definitely respects me, definitely, he likes me. There's no question in my mind about that because we share so much in common and, but he has so many, whatever his issues are,
Yeah.
they are like a block.
Mhm.
And so, it's really funny. I have if you ever need a fabulous astrologer, I really have one. She's a karmic astrologer. And she's just looking at my chart. And she's saying, you've sort of been alone for years. You've been, it sort of goes with being an Aquarius and whatever. And I brought up Michael to her. She said, well, you should definitely follow up on that. That's a very good, not like it's just a very good relationship for you. And I thought, she's right. It is a good relationship for me. It doesn't really matter whether it turns into something. I mean, I'm not particularly attracted to him. I don't think I'm attracted to anybody at the moment. So I have sort of followed up on that. But my point in going on and on, and telling you this is more that it seemed to me in that case, I was pretty open. I was pretty open to exploring something more. Maybe my antenna was out and I picked somebody who had to go through a long process before he would be open. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Who knows but that's the only thing that makes me think that, yeah, I do have these things to clear and to think about. But, I think I can, I've done a lot of work on that, Jan.
Okay.
A lot of work. I've been single for.
Would you like me to give you, how would you like to use our session today? Let me kind of back up a little bit.
Okay.
And I do have some
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I do have insights about that relationship.
I'd love you to share that.
You want that? Okay.
I'd
Because
love to share anything intuitive that you're picking up
I
because you are really good at this, Jan.
am
And
really
I
good.
value that. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So I was drawing cards while you were talking about the man in Oxford, whose
Yep.
name is, what is his name?
Michael.
Michael.
Like the archangel.
I was gonna just say that, like the archangels. So
I'm good at myself.
here's what I want you to write down.
Okay.
Archangel Michael
Uh-huh.
and soulmate.
Uh-huh.
That's what I was hearing.
Really?
This is the first card I drew. It's called Door to Romance.
Oh.
And I can take pictures of these cards and send them to you.
Okay. I sort of get this. I love all the little hearts flying
Yeah,
around.
so there's little hearts. Anyway, it's like a Harry Potter vanity, and the doors are open where Harry Potter used to go through the doors. Anyway, so like the vanity doors are open and inside is a cage with a big heart in it. Just getting goosebumps. Like your heart has been in a cage, right? Inside of this vanity, but the doors have opened. It's like the door to romance. Okay. And all these little hearts are, little fluttering around you. So that's what I got about this relationship with Michael. And that I'll just see if there's anything else that. Well, through the doors, and the heart in the cage has a big keyhole in the middle. And really, you're just waiting. The key is right here, like it's actually here in the picture. You can't
Just flying around.
There's a little key over here just ready to open the door. Like that's this is your whole persona around Michael is this is ready to be open, then
His isn't ready. I mean, that's the
no,
thing.
don't say that. He's getting ready. Not every, I mean, you opened his heart,
Yeah.
and the dominoes fell, you know, in the other relationship after he met you. There's no accident. You guys had this soul connection, you're soulmates.
Yeah. Well, he said the relationship that he left, he said it had been dead for a number of years, that it wasn't
Yeah, he just needed that
push.
reason, push, open. He needed his heart to open to something. He was locked in the cage too, probably. And then this was the next card. I know the light kind of provides a glare. Let's see.
That's all right.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
better. It's
Yeah,
it's called cornucopia.
oh, wow.
And so it's the
These
cornucopia.
are nice cards.
These are wonderful cards. You might want to get a deck, but you know, like the Thanksgiving cornucopia that we decorate with all the
Yep.
anyway, all the fruits, the vegetables are pouring out of the cornucopia, and the light is shining here. So there's a lot of abundance for you with that relationship.
Even though it's all the way across the sea. I mean, you know, it's like we're talking.
Well, look at this next card. This is called storm warning. So
Yeah.
there's your sea. There's a storm across the sea. See, this is a big funnel storm.
I see the funnel, which is a little, you
This
know.
this is water.
Oh, okay. I can't see that so well. Yeah.
Well, I see this two ways. I see that either a storm is coming to the person or the storm is moving away. And when I ask that about this storm, I see it moving away. So the storm is moving away across the pond.
Woo. Of course, all of my pronouncements that I'm ready for love, when you sort of say that, is sort of I sort of say, oh, maybe I just really liked it not working out. You know?
We can assess things into the ground, you know, we really can, but where does that come from? Is that coming from the head or the heart? So if you look in
It's a little bit of both. You know what it is? It's it's fear. It's no question that it's fear. So that would be a more of a heart related thing than I mean, rationally you can say you have nothing to fear. What the heck? I mean, you know, it's not nothing is bad is going to come. I mean, I have nothing to fear, but still the fear, of course, is always there because the minute you open yourself up.
It's so easy to go there because, I mean, it's really about abandonment.
Say more about that, please.
Fear of abandonment. You know, that we're gonna love something that abandons us or goes away. And if I love deeply, I'm gonna lose it. You know, that's the feeling of losing something inside of the relationship. But that's the mind telling you you're gonna lose, blah, 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 fill in the blank. But the heart would say, but remember how I felt when I was on that hike with him, you know, how enjoyable it was, how light, how I felt like we've known each other. These are the kind of things that the heart would tell you. Now, as far as him, let's draw some cards from him. Let's see where he's at. Tell me more about Michael. I'm glad you're into cards.
I am into cards. I think they're very helpful.
I do
because
too. Yeah.
Even if, you know, it isn't a truth, it gets you to think about things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is a little bit about where he might be. Financial constraints.
Yep, that's definitely true.
Okay, so the divorce is making it difficult financially, and hostilities.
Ooh, what does that mean?
Well, hostilities I look at this card two ways. One, it can be somebody who's really angry and is, got the sword out, I'm going to defend myself or whatever. But it could also be someone that's cutting through the old ties. It's like, I'm going to defend myself, but I'm not going to let this kill me. I'm coming out stronger. So it can also be, this is a warrior on a mission. When I see his face and I look at it up close, he's intent on being a warrior. Like, they have the sword, and not like they're going to go kill the ex-partner, but they've got to take care of themselves.
Yeah, I think he feels very wronged. And
don't come
the other
after
thing-
me because I've got my sword out.
yeah, and it's not he's not a an aggressive person, so he's not like a,
Yeah.
but I think he described himself, and this was wonderful because he said I'm a nurturer, and then he talked about how he'd given all this money over to her, and they were going to do this equal thing, and she just never lived up to it. And so anybody who's most people who are going through a breakup or a relationship, you're going to have anger, and you're going to have regrets, and you're going to have it's just so much to work through.
He is in that phase, he's got to work through his anger, his grief, his upset, his feelings of being wronged or taken advantage of.
Right.
And it's making him anxious. However, you are a bright spot in his life. So the question would be, do you want to wait till he gets through that a little while longer? And just kind of observe as observe.
I think for my own thing, he can be, this sounds very utilitarian. I don't mean it this way because I think it's a mutual thing. He can be very helpful in in my writing project, and I can be very helpful in his.
Okay, there's a project to work together.
Yeah, he's because they're related, and so we're both involved in researching similar things, a similar time period, a similar group of writers. And so my feeling is that what I thought is that I should just pursue this without an agenda.
Yeah. I think you're right on with that, with the focus being on the writing and your similar interest. That's a great place to build a relationship from.
Yeah, I do notice though that, so we were going to get together before I went off to Costa Rica, and then I had this thing with a migraine that turns out to be degenerative disc disease. Doesn't that sound horrible?
That does sound
It really has been.
sorry.
I have another question for you on this.
Okay.
Anyway, so I noticed that, I kind of feel like the ball's always in my court, and sometimes I'm reluctant to, to swing at it. So it takes a little bit of, I think it's worth pursuing on a just a low key level. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
That's
Yeah, you don't know if this will turn out or anything, but you could be very good friends. And friends, I think, is a very high state of relationship.
Oh, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I value friendship so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I just go on.
I think that would be a very high state, high vibration. It's also one of the emotional attraction triggers, is to have a mutual interest that you share.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I think he thinks I'm a lot richer than he is. I'm a little concerned about the financial constraints because I really don't want to be with, I kind of was ended up being the breadwinner in my marriage, the breadwinner and the caretaker and all sorts of things. And really don't want to go there again.
I
I mean,
know.
I don't,
I did that too, Janice. I get you.
did you?
I did right
Ah,
after my husband died. So I took care of my husband before he died, right? It was
oh,
seemed like it lasted forever. It was about almost 2 years of in and out of hospitals. And I was I'm an empath, so I feel things so
me
intense.
too.
And man, I was just worn out. I had no life force. I was running on fumes. And then he ultimately took his own life, which
Is this Alan?
uh-huh, yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he was not in it. He was not Alan. He wasn't who we knew, who
Oh my
I knew.
God.
But he was very depressed. He was degenerating in his heart, even after the bypass surgeries. His heart wasn't pumping. It was like 20% and going down of what it should be. So he's not getting off, he wasn't getting blood to the brain and all that. So you're not yourself.
Oh my
And
God.
I didn't, he should have been on antidepressants, blah, blah, blah. As soon as somebody has heart disease, they should immediately get on antidepressants.
Mm.
But nobody ever talked to me about that, or him, no cardiologist. He had 3 cardiologists. Nobody said a word.
But yeah, because you know why? I mean, they're not trained that way.
They're
They're
idiots.
trained as,
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just like
they're trained
I
as
went and picked
cardiologists.
that
They're
cardiologist. I called him after it happened and I said, I want you to know what happened. And why did you never,
good for you. Good
why
for
did you
you.
not ever recommend antidepressants? Once.
It wouldn't even occur to them. I'm
Oh,
certain it didn't
yeah,
even occur to them.
yeah, I was with him at every appointment. You never said one thing.
And
Anyway,
has,
um, so
wow.
all right, so that happened. I'm in it, my universe is upside down. And then I'm lonely. I mean, I'm really used to being with a person. I'm really just kind of sad and lonely. I'm like, really be nice to have a coffee. And I did do the match.com. So I met somebody. And he and I, you know, oh, this was really the bonding thing. His wife died the same day Alan died.
Oh my God.
That was our
My
connection.
God.
We were both grieving. We were both lonely. We were both sad. We'd both been through long, you know, caretaking cycle. So we had that in common. And I figured, well, at least he would understand. If I'm grieving, he would understand. And he did. And if he was grieving, I would understand. So that was really the basis of our beginning of our relationship. But as it turned out, he had a lot of illness inside of him, a lot more than Alan even. I mean, he had way more. Yeah, that was a learning lesson. It cost me money because I couldn't say no. And, I came to his rescue one too many times. And then finally, I can't do this.
Good for you. I mean, I was married to somebody who, um, I know he suffered from mental illness, but it wasn't so, it was either I was in denial or it was so masked. It was very subtle and it grew worse over the years, but it was crazy making for me because it was like it was like he blamed me, but he couldn't even see me because I wouldn't be surprised if he heard voices. You know, I don't know. I don't understand it. But I ended up, he hated the fact that he thought I was somehow more successful than he was, which was crazy, Jan, because I'm not, I was not really a successful person. I mean, I'm competent and responsible, and I took care of his 2 stepsons who didn't have, had 2 crazy parents, um, literally. Anyway, that is, I've been God, when I got out of that marriage, I remember my father saying, "You sound like a bird let out of a cage."
Ah,
Cage
there
there.
you go. Here's your cage.
That was 20 years ago.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah. But
Yeah, it was a cage, and
as
it still
far
is.
as
I still,
as far as Michael, um, he may at his age he may never recoup the financial well-being.
oh no, I don't think so, because
And
he's
so it
into
is good for you to note that you can be soulmates and you can be friends, but he's probably not your next romantic partner.
that's what I think.
I think that's the case. I really do. But
Yeah,
I
which
think
makes me,
what I want you to observe from it is how you felt, on that one day that you came
I
together.
know it was just totally kind of amazing. And there was shades of it the next time I got together too. I mean, we just, and as he said to me, he said, "You're so easy to be with. You're so comfortable to be with."
Those are the things that you want to hear. These are the things of a soulmate.
I know it, but you wonder about investing
Soulmate doesn't
time.
mean there's not another one.
Excuse me?
Just because he's a soulmate doesn't mean there's not another one.
I know it, but it makes me worry about investing too much time in it. Do you know what I mean? I know that.
Only as a friend,
Yeah.
only with projects. You can enjoy each other's company through the project of writing. That's your that's your mutual interest. You're not caretaking, you're not dating. You get a nice feeling when you're together. That's all it is. Just
It is
be
all it is.
grateful. Be grateful for that. And I've got another deck. This is actually a tarot deck that I pulled from to kind of give us a overview. Let's see. This is Four of Cups. It's a beautiful card. It has a
I've
beautiful.
gotten the Four of Cups in tarot. What is
That's
it?
what I'm going to read a little bit because I'm not as up on every card in tarot. But there's a poppy in the center. Four gold cups. Withdrawal, these are the key words. Withdrawal, introspection, renewal, and release. This card's upright cups suggest opportunities and possibilities presenting themselves to you. And that's what you are being shown, is this is an opportunity. Doesn't mean that's the only one.
I know, I know. It seems like it's been so many years that, it's like, oh, okay.
It's not the only one. It's just like, oh, okay, there's a world out here. There are other opportunities.
Well, it was eye-opening to me because I never thought I'd actually relate to anybody. I just thought, you know, just
So the cups, in times of introspection, it can be hard to reach out a hand and grasp a cup, much less drink from it. So the cups, let's just say that would be a relationship.
mhm,
Okay. But you've been in a place of introspection, healing, whatever,
totally.
focusing on yourself, and you weren't reaching to get a drink out of the cup. You might have withdrawn from the world like the surf pulling back from the shore. In this sense, the card can suggest apathy and stagnation, missed opportunities, and boredom. So in the middle is a poppy, which they make opium from. Opium derives from the poppy, so that symbol suggests that
Narcolepsy.
narcotized mind, the numbness of drugged sleep.
So
So
is this where I am or where I've been or what?
this is where you've been.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
A numbness of drug sleep, as in the dangerous field of poppies in the Wizard of Oz. I don't really remember that.
oh, I remember The Wizard of Oz is one of my favorite movies. And she comes back, the poppies, she's trying to get back to the Emerald City. and there are all these poppies, and she falls asleep in the poppy field.
That's it.
And the good witch of wherever, north or whatever, comes in and makes a snow go over it so that she will wake up and move on. It's a really wonderful.
Okay, so I didn't remember that, but that's what they're
okay.
using the analogy of where you've been. Perhaps past pain made you cautious, or perhaps you find your strength sapped by depression or lack of motivation. For the creative person, these symptoms might manifest as a creative block and procrastination. This is a time when you should use your introspection to clarify your needs and desires so you can make choices and seize the opportunities that are best for you. And that's what sounds like you are coming out of that field of poppies stage and looking at, using your creativity to open the door for new opportunities.
Well, we hope so. We sure hope so. That's really interesting.
So here's a quick exercise they suggest on that. It's called wipe your windshield. And I didn't show you this, but I did draw a card called anxiety.
Yeah.
Around Michael.
And so he's having a lot of anxiety, right? That is so true. I really pick it up.
So here's a quick and simple exercise for relieving the anxiety that the Four of Cups signals. You're going to wipe your worries right out of your head. As one tarot card reader put it to me, she says, if they're going to be in your head, they need to start paying rent.
Yeah, so true.
They're not paying rent, kick them out. All right, evict them. All right, wipe your worries right out of your head. Raise both arms out to your side, then bend the elbows, placing the 3 central fingers of each hand in the center of your forehead with the fingertips facing one another. Thumbs up, pinkies down. Press your fingers firmly against your forehead. Take in a deep breath. Slowly exhale as you slide them gradually towards your ears.
Oh, I see what they're saying. Got it.
And a deep breath. Slowly exhale as you slide them.
That's so funny.
You get to the edge of your forehead, release the rest of your breath, and throw your arms and hands out. So like this. I've never seen that before. Oh my gosh.
That is hysterical, but you know what? I sort of get it, and it's sort of fun. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
it takes you out of your mind so that you're doing something physical.
Yes.
And
I love that.
I actually quite like it myself.
That's great. That is great. All right. So, all right.
Okay. So where are we? Where
are we? Let's get a tarot. I like to use a different deck for a summary. That was fun. I feel better.
I don't want to.
I think I feel better. Okay.
Well, I have a couple of thoughts for you too. It isn't too presumptuous.
I love it. Okay, give me a summary card for Janice. All right. I like this guy. It's the King of Pentacles.
Oh, wow.
So the King of Pentacles, I'll look him up in the book as well, but what I like about him is Pentacles are about money.
Yeah.
And this guy is strong.
Right.
Like he's strength. He's like standing there with his hands on his hips, and he's very grounded. Let's see what the book says.
I mean, you can see it as money, but you can also just see it as abundance.
It is. It's abundance. It's grounded. King of Pentacles, and it's the last page in the deck. I drew him the other day. He represents discipline. No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. That was the knight. The king, okay.
Like the king better than
All
the
right,
knight.
patient and humane. Maybe it is time to sing. How about, no, sorry. Maybe it is a time to sing about how each of us is king. So the key words for this guy is patriarch, and there's no gender necessary.
Right. Yeah.
Patriarch, steadfast, humane, and reactionary.
Reactionary.
So he wears a crimson royal cloak, a pinnacle of wealth and power around his neck, and stands on a flourishing ground of twining plants. Behind his head, a green halo inset with a gold pinnacle suggests natural growth, wisdom, and prosperity.
Wow.
Is
So
you-
how do you read that? What is your intuitive take on it? Not even, what's your intuitive?
I think this is you.
Yeah.
I think this is you, and I think this is your equal of what you're looking for.
Oh, wow.
I think you're looking for someone like you.
I am. I totally am. Sort of egocentric, but that's true.
Seeing yourself, you could see yourself with a king of pentacles.
I totally could.
He's
I'd like him to have a little softness around him, but
yeah. Well, he's got
Uh,
wealth, he's got humaneness, he's grounded, he's strong in who he is. He's not
right.
going through a late life crisis that he's created for himself all the way. Those guys are out there in spades, let me tell you.
You think so?
The ones
You
that
think
stay in relationships and they don't do their work, yes, there's lots of them.
that are who are available?
They're in a late life crisis. Either they've lost their money or they've lost their health.
No, but I mean the ones who are not that way.
No.
What,
There are ones out there, you just have to stand for it. You've got to have this in your mirror.
okay. Yeah, I got it.
Have this of who you're supposed to be with, not all the failed whatever.
Yeah, I know it. I don't need that.
We don't need that. We just wiped our windshield clean. So the windshield's clean. This is now in our
Does
mirror.
he have a strange head? It looks like it's an
Yeah, it's a
animal
deer
head.
head. It's a deer head with antlers. What the heck is that for?
I know. I'm just saying, like, really?
What is that guy? What is
I don't want any deer heads with antler guy.
what is
He
he?
definitely wouldn't look good in jeans.
What does he have? Deer head.
Well, I guess you could, what is it? It's a stag, right? He's a stag.
Calm and peaceful.
Interesting.
Humaneness. Maybe it's the qualities of a deer.
Well, I would think it would be, it's a stag, isn't it? I mean, it's not not a doe. I mean, it's not really
not
peaceful.
a woman.
The stag is somebody
mature.
who you can depend on,
deer.
who is majestic.
Yeah.
Way,
king of the
forest.
of the forest, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it didn't really point to anything regarding that, but I think we can see the characteristics of a mature deer that has grown. The antlers, in a deer world probably represents, that they have overcome obstacles. They've, grown
protective.
That rack because of who they've been. But it's a good visual, I believe.
I have a couple of tarot decks. Different. I have angel tarot, I have regular tarot, and I have a different one.
You can read what
I can read up on that.
You can read up of King of Pentacles in your book.
Can I want to share with you something that it may be presumptuous, so I hope I'm not crossing a boundary, and you can tell me. But your guy in Colorado, I would not follow up with that. This guy is a survivalist.
Yeah, no,
And
I've already cut him off.
oh, good.
No,
I
I
just
cut
thought,
him off.
where's your intuition on this? This guy is not normal.
No, I cut him off.
Good. I'm really,
A while
really.
ago. He even texted me, said, "Oh, I miss our phone calls," and I just didn't even respond.
Oh God, it ghosted him.
Well, yeah, I kind of did. But he sent me an email, one more of these conspiracy theory
Oh God.
laws, and I did write back and I said interesting. That's all I
Oh,
said.
you're sweet to say that, even that. I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do? I mean, thank God he's in Colorado. He's not at your doorstep. That's all I gotta say.
I've
You do
got
not want this guy at your doorstep.
I have two suitors right now. The guy from Austin, just quality guy.
Oh, that's so neat.
And we had 4 dates, 3 last week while he was in town, and now he's headed back, or he's in Austin now. He'll be back to Santa Fe mid-May. And he just said some really sweet things to me.
Which you
Like,
deserved.
well, I hope you'll still be available when I get back. And I just said,
I should have said, oh, I don't know.
I said, well, hurry back. I made no promises. Hurry back. And then he texted it that he was there, and had to go by his house here and pick up an Amazon package that came after he left. So I let him know that it was there. And he said, "Do you miss me?" And I said, "Yes." "Do you
Oh, that
miss
was
me?"
nice.
And he said, "Yes."
Oh,
And I'm just not chasing. I'm just not going after. I let them come to me. And then in the meantime, another guy from who's in Santa Fe, same thing. He's just reaching out, cute little text here or there. I was supposed to meet him on Saturday, but I was so in the bubble of seeing the Austin guy on Friday and Friday night, or Friday night. And I was like, I just postponed the other guy. I said, "I'm not feeling real well. Let's do something." And he was nice about it. So you can always tell how people are when you say no.
yeah,
And he
yeah. I'm so
persisted, and
impressed with you doing all this.
he
God.
sent me a little message this morning. Um, he said, "I'll be in touch this afternoon. Maybe we can find a time to get together."
Wow.
So
Well,
that I'm like, okay, I'll just play along and
you sound like me, right? I'm just gonna,
I
and that's
let them, my learning and all of this is not chasing
right. But
and
it takes patience. It takes a certain discipline to be that way. I mean,
stay
unless you really
focused on
feel like,
my life, right?
yeah, it's
Keep
tough.
doing the things that I like and that interest me. Don't make them oh, is he gonna call, Yeah, I don't want to get in
know.
that stage ever.
I think that's a young stage, I think that's, teens, 20s,
I've been
30s.
through that, even at this age,
Oh, I could easily be there. Believe me, easily.
but I
Um,
have really worked to be happy with who I am, just as I am, and I don't need another person. It'd be nice to have someone. I enjoy, having a certain someone in my life, but I don't want to share a home together. I would just want to do things and travel, and I need somebody that has, King of Pentacles. So these are two men that are and I haven't met the second one for true, but the first one is definitely, solid like this guy, and um, secure in his financial area and
that's
himself,
cool.
it seems. So what I can tell so far.
That's so good.
Uh,
The other thing I wanted to ask you about, because I wonder for myself,
mm,
that you had mentioned, and I totally understand it now that I know a little bit of your story, is the chronic fatigue. I have been so tired. I can't even, I think part of it was a reaction because I was, as I think I mentioned in September, I was hospitalized for 5 days with COVID,
oh,
despite having had 4 injections. And so I was really sick. And so there was a long, um, recuperating from that. But even so, I just like, you know,
well, what
I get
what
tired
was
at the end of
true
the day.
for me is that the vaccine triggered chronic fatigue.
Really?
Mhm. So that's what I had to, that I wasn't treating. I mean, I went from the time I had the vaccine all the way to the beginning of the next year. And by the beginning of the next year, so I had the May of 21 was when I had the first vaccine. That there was two of them, you know, back to back. So that's all I've ever had. And by January of the beginning of the next year, I couldn't hardly walk. My bedroom's upstairs. I could hardly walk up these stairs.
Wow.
And I was laying in bed all day.
Oh
And
my God, I'm not that bad.
I can't get up. I did get up every single day to go to the dog park.
Good.
And I'm like, I'm forcing myself. It took everything I had to get up and go. But I'm like, I'm going. And finally, my friend said, you need to go to a doctor. I said, I don't do doctors. And they weren't going to put me in the hospital because I'm not willing to go. And she says, no, I mean a Tibetan doctor.
Uh-huh.
And so I started going to a Tibetan doctor who I told her, I said, I think it was the vaccine. It's killing me.
But
And
that's a long time to have that reaction afterwards.
well, the vaccine was killing me,
Mm.
in essence. I mean, that's what I related the fatigue. I didn't know I had chronic fatigue, but she got me on my feet by giving me some kind of a homeopathic remedy. And I don't know what that is, but she gave me something that boosted me. I was on my feet right after that session.
Wow. That's
And
amazing.
I worked with her from January through May. And then I saw a woman in town that my Tibetan doctor recommended. And she's the one that told me that she had been seeing a lot of people being reactivated or triggered chronic fatigue from the vaccine. And she cured me of it. She healed me of it.
Wow.
But
Well,
there are things like ivermectin
I
out
would
there,
never take that. It's a
and you know
horses.
I'm telling you, it has put people back on their feet. But you have to be willing, you know, you have
Yeah,
to.
no, I would never be willing to do that.
My
Okay.
daughter actually took it. I didn't know she was taking. She did not take any vaccine, but she had COVID a couple of times.
Mm.
So I never had COVID. I just tell people I never had COVID. I never tested positive for COVID. I said it has something far worse. I had a reaction to the vaccine and almost killed me. So I'm not a anti-vaxxer, or, you know, I'm not a
Right.
they call it a conspiracy theory person.
Right.
I just tell people, here's my personal experience,
Here's what happened to me.
and
Yeah.
this is what happened to me. And
I think it's all somewhat of a mystery. I mean, we just don't know
yeah,
to a certain extent.
well,
Anyway, I can
I'll give you
see.
the guy's name in Colorado. He can step you through all of that stuff. And but I don't, you know, I don't have any symptoms anymore that I need, you know, some really like nicotine patches. I've heard that. Also, there's another ivermectin and one other that I can't, fenbendazole or something. But when I looked into it for myself, because you know, they can clear parasites and stuff, I just went, well, if I had a lot of symptoms that I was really worried about, I might, but I don't have any of those symptoms. I'm okay.
Yeah.
So
Right. Okay, so I see, our time is up, and I had a question about, if I wanted to work with you, do you do coaching? How do
I
you,
do.
and what does that consist of?
I'm doing a little package. I call it my friends and family package because it's $525 for 3 sessions. And that comes out to $175 a session. Normally I'm $225 for a session.
For 525 or 575
$525.
for 3 sessions?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not really ready for it right this minute, but
Okay.
I can see me coming back and saying, hey, remember me?
Oh,
Because I think you would be very helpful in terms of me navigating. I have a pretty full schedule for the next couple of months,
okay.
but come the fall, we'll see where I am.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go to England, I think, and we'll see where that takes me and stuff like that. But I really value your time and your insights and
Good.
for
Good.
sharing. So, and if you happen to want to take a picture, I don't know if you can send those pictures of the
I
cards.
can. I do that all the time. I take pictures. I'll send you, let's see, I'm gonna send you 3 sets. First is for you,
And for Michael.
and then the next 3 are for him, and then these are the 2 tarot cards. I'll put them together.
Awesome.
In the
Awesome.
front.
And you have, obviously you have my
Oh,
email.
I
So,
don't have your phone number. Oh, I might somewhere, but if you just
do you
give,
want to text it then? It
no.
is 603
All right.
455 9195.
Oh, gosh.
You
Okay.
don't have a website, do you anymore?
What?
Yeah, you don't have a website for your sacred synchronicity?
It's called Your Sacred Synchronicity.
Yeah,
YOU.
I couldn't get on it. It kept saying that that it's down and that,
It's there.
maybe that was just yesterday. Who
Oh,
knows?
I'll put it here.
I know, because I know it's your sacred synchronicity.com. That would come up. But then when it went to it,
Oh,
it would
Mercury retrograde. I mean, it's just like my phone, now my mouse is working. Right when I was trying to get on the call, fortunately, my computer, I can touch screens because my mouse wasn't working. And then I had this other bizarre thing this morning. I probably shouldn't tell you this, but you're kind of woo-woo. You'll get it.
oh, I'm totally woo-woo.
I have this full-length mirror in my bedroom, and I have one hair dryer in the bathroom, but then I need another plug, so I have another kind of hair dryer that I use in the bedroom in front of that mirror. And in the mirror, I can see my TV that's on my dresser,
Uh-huh.
and it was off. I saw a face.
You're kidding. Whose face?
I think it's Alan. I'm
Wow.
pretty sure it's Alan is living here. And I've asked him to move. I've seen evidence that he lives here, and I've asked him to move once before. It's not real good for dating, have your
No.
ex-husband lingering in the house. But yesterday I noticed the bathroom downstairs, the faucet was leaking, and I couldn't turn it off. It has 2 handles. I couldn't turn it off. And so I contacted uh, my helper guy, Ken, could you come over? And he said, well, I can't come till May 8th. And I'm like, oh gosh, that would be a long time to
That
drip.
is a long time.
And so, and I just heard, turn the water off under the sink. And I'm like, okay, who was that? I'm sure that was Ellen. Turn the water off. So I did. I just went downstairs and went, oh, I can just turn the water off because nobody really uses that. I don't need it that much. So
Isn't
anyway,
that?
I'm like, okay, so I'm working on Alan. I've asked him to move. I did some smudging this morning, and
I have a great psychic medium, who interprets people in real time. And she's actually brought my father a lot, but my uh, great aunt who I'm writing about, she's actually channeled her.
I'm a
And it's
medium
so much.
also. I do.
Are you? Oh,
Yeah.
so that's why he could
Oh
tap.
yeah, I'm a medium, and I do bring forth that in certain readings, when it's appropriate, but or somebody asks. But yeah, I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, and clairsentient, and a medium.
Wow, Jan.
Yeah. And really all of that came in full force after Alan died. They say that sometimes a traumatic experience can trigger it. So I think that might have been what happened. I always had intuition, but I never had, and I was always kind of a medium, but I just downplayed it. only used it with certain people. Or if
Oh.
somebody needed to go to the light, I could help them with that. But so yeah, I have all of that.
Can you do it for yourself then? I
Mm.
mean, obviously you do because Alan's coming through. He
Yeah,
does need to.
I can.
Why doesn't he want to leave? Tell me, why is he hanging around there?
Uh, he's he's attached some way. He didn't want to
Yeah.
let me go. He just
Oh,
didn't
God.
let me go.
I remember I did this shamanic journey right after I separated from my husband. Okay, I'm up in I don't know if you know Omega Rhinebeck anyway, but I'm out in this. I didn't have any idea what a shamanic journey was. So I'm out in this tent, and there is a huge thunderstorm going on. I can't tell you. And the woman says, well, we're going to go and retrieve your soul. And she said, well, we're back at this house where you're excited, and he will not let go of your soul. He is just keeping it. And she couldn't get him to let go of my soul. And I was so pissed. I mean, like, you know.
I have a session. I talked to her this morning, my friend Christy, which by the way, she does intuitive art.
Oh, fun.
And so I talked to her this morning. I'm gonna offer it to our class as kind of a little bonus that treat. It's really gonna be a treat. I'm not gonna charge
Yeah,
for it, but we'll make a special date. We didn't confirm anything yet today, but I'm gonna tell everybody about it in our class tomorrow. That there will be a bonus session where our group can come together, and she's gonna do drawings for each person while
wow.
we're on the call.
That
And
is such a treat.
I thought that would be fun, maybe even do a future class where we come together, we're talking about dating, etc. And her drawings, oh my gosh, it's so powerful. She starts drawing things. And the last time I did it with her, there was two spaces in the drawing. She says, what's this? Anyway, Alan showed up in that. And I thought we had released him. So we're going to do another session on Tuesday to see why is he coming back around and what does he need? What does he want?
Oh, good. I mean, it's hard to get rid of some of these people. I mean, not that you want to get rid of Alan. You had a totally
Well,
different
he
relationship.
needs to go on and do his work.
Yeah,
Video.
yeah.
You know, he doesn't need to hang around me anymore. But yeah.
Well, that's wonderful news. I'm really going to look forward to that. I
Oh,
think
good. I'm
it's really
excited.
fun.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. I'll have to find my other. I need to get that out for the class tomorrow. I'll show you the drawing that she did for me, the most recent one, and it was
So
really.
is she looking for clients? Is that why she's doing that?
Yeah, yeah. We kind of
Good for
look
her.
for exposure to new people, and she does these kind of sessions with people too.
Yeah, I have, I have a whole network of people that I sort of refer people to. They come to me and then I say, well, I'll
Right.
go to like my astrologer who is so absolutely unbelievable and stuff. So I always like to know about people who are really good at things because you never
Oh yeah,
know.
she's got a
Somebody.
gift, and she's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Well, I'll
right.
see
Well,
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
it's
you.
11:11. Oh, we're closing right at 11:11. That's
111. Oh, you're 1111. I'm
I'm
111.
11:11, which is a power number for me. So,
It
all
is a
right.
power number
Well,
for everybody. It's an angel number. Okay. Take
okay.
care. See you
And
tomorrow.
I'll, I'll send you the recording for this and your pictures.
Okay. Thanks so much, Dan.
Bye,
Take
Janice.
care. Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.